So much for Scranton Joe. They say President Biden is now floating a tax hike for millions of working class Americans. He's voting to let parts of a Trump-era tax bill expire if he is reelected, meaning higher taxes for middle class and low income Americans. Does he do his own math? Is my question. Fox Business' Edward Lawrence is live for us at the White House with the details. Edward, hand him a calculator.
Or abacus in our case, yeah. So President Joe Biden saying in every speech just about that he wants to let the Trump tax cuts expire in 2025. And about every union member in the audience does cheer on that because the president makes it sound like it's just the wealthy and corporations. Listen.
Look, now Trump is saying if he gets elected, he wants to give another. By the way, that tax cut expires the next year, okay? Well, let me tell you something. It's going to say expired and dead forever if I'm not elected.
So, and that actually means just about everyone in America will get a tax hike. The White House Communications Department trying to re-message what the president's saying. They tell me today the president wants the tax cuts to expire just for the wealthy while protecting Americans making under $400,000 a year. But that's not what he says, and he can't pick and choose what part of the law expires. If the tax cut expires, the Tax Foundation calculated a family of 2 kids making $85,000 would see taxes go up by about $1,700 a year. A single person without kids making $75,000 would pay the same in increased taxes. A married couple with 2 kids making $165,000 a year would pay an additional $2,500 in taxes each year. Now, economist Steve Moore says this, in combination with the economy, will play in this election.
Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? And remember, Ashley, it was Ronald Reagan who asked that question to the American people in 1980 when he ran against Jimmy Carter, the last time we had high inflation. So, yes.
And when the president talks about having those tax cuts sunset, he doesn't add the caveat. You know, maybe we'll hear one going forward, but he doesn't at this point. Back to you.
Wow. Well, no, you'd have to call him and teach him and take your abacus. We all laughed at that. Good to see you, Edward. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. You just said something off camera that shook me. I mean, what do you mean people don't actually know they have tax cuts?
That's right. And we saw this. It's really confounding. But the facts are there. Trump gave a tax cut to essentially every American who pays taxes, to every income bracket. You just saw the facts. But the left did a very good job of messaging on this. Oh, it was only for the millionaires and billionaires. And it was when times were good that Trump gave this tax cut. So people might not have realized it. But you know when they're going to realize it? When Joe Biden takes it away. We now know what Bidenomics is all about. We can't get enough of your money. You know, we got inflation for you, $6.5 trillion of spending, and we got inflation for you. Now we have to raise the interest rates. You can't afford a house, a credit card, a mortgage. But now we want more of your money. Those tax cuts that President Trump gave you, $50,000, $75,000 income bracket, we want to take those too. But you got to win the messaging battle. Show people what they're going to lose.
Look, in Edward's report, Jason, we saw a family making $75,000 a year, and I don't know if our team has that graphic too. Their taxes now are going to go up when those tax cuts sunset to the tune of $1,700 a year.
Yeah, that's even with 0 kids.
Yeah,
it's
with
going
0
up
kids.
$1,700. And the President Biden doesn't explain why. Why do we want to have this?
The more children you have.
Yes, 2 kids, $2,400. That's going to hit. The other stunning statistic that Biden has presided over is that $1 trillion that Americans have on their credit cards that are paying 20+% annual percentage rate, that is devastating. You put this on top of it.
Yeah.
Why, Mr. President? Why, Joe Biden, do you want to increase taxes for Americans? Why?
Because he cannot add. We're already dealing.
What are we going to get for that?
Him, potentially. So the extra tax, Lisa, is inflation. So it's a triple threat.
Well, yeah, I mean, Americans are getting killed right now with higher prices on everything. You know, people are maxed out financially with credit card debt as well, struggling to pay for their house. You know, additionally, and to Kaylee's point, just to underscore that messaging battle on this issue specifically, the New York Times did an online survey in early April and found just 40% of Americans believe they received a tax cut under the Tax Cut and Jobs Act. So that's an uphill battle to fight. Fortunately, on the whole, on the economic battle, Trump's winning when Americans believe that he would be better off on the economy. We even look at the recent CBS battleground polling. Almost half of Pennsylvanians believe that they would be better off financially under Donald Trump. So I think on a net, right, he wins on this issue, and you just keep the message simple. Joe Biden wants to raise your taxes.
Yep.
So, Emily, it really drills down to, I said, what do you get for all this to Jason's question? You get him. But really and truly, what is he trying to do with this? Is this a flex for whom?
I think the problem that I see here is that the White House has different definitions than we do. And the tired, continued platitudes that he puts out there, pay your fair share, have the billionaires pay their fair share, and the corporations, he continues to shove Americans and entities into a certain box that he has drawn a line so that it's us versus them, and it makes average Americans feel like, okay, yeah, so he's not going to do that to me. Yeah, make those corporations pay more. But the reality is, similar to the crime situation where we've seen misdemeanors become, or felonies become misdemeanors, violent crimes become nonviolent, this administration has defined middle class very narrowly. And we know that over 27 million Americans right now feel that they are in poverty and that they cannot pay their bills. They are food insecure and the like, but they have steady incomes, they have assets, they have bank accounts. There is a disconnect between how the White House sees Americans and who needs and how we feel. That's why the 211 calls have exploded with people saying, I cannot pay my bills, and yet I have no resources to help me. So this is a president that will message this in a way of, oh, President Trump just tried to help the rich, so don't worry about the tax cuts being restored. That just affects the rich people. But he is not articulating to us that the rich people are all of us, because it affects everyone threefold. It affects them that they're in that category, even though they're told they're not, and it affects them through inflation, and it affects them every day as our 401ks and the like become valued at less. So this is a shell game he's playing. And when you ask about his intent, I think it's just to preserve his power, frankly. It's to do whatever he can to purchase votes so he can continue rotting in the Oval Office.
Yeah, when you look at that $75,000 a year, I'm not saying that that's no money. There are a lot of people in this country who'd love to make that much. The challenge is predominantly the urban centers have the most population still, or places close to it, the suburbs, the experts. They're trying to get to the jobs in those urban areas. So that means that money doesn't go as far. I mean, if you made $75,000 and you were living in the beautiful town of Pocatello, Idaho, which is beautiful, you should go, it would spend differently than if you are with a family of 2 to 4 living in Manhattan. Right. I mean, that would be hard to live off of. So it hurts everybody when he does this.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.